Hello, Rebuild listeners. This is your co-host Shantae Gold with...
Hi.
Hi, we're back.
How's your Friday going? Yeah.
It's going. It's pretty, yeah. Yeah, it's been, boring. I mean, no, it hasn't been boring. Life has been interesting. I guess life has changed a lot since I'm working less, and I was just venting to Alyssa. I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing Kevin's laundry. What is happening? Like, I'm not used to doing my husband's laundry. Like, I really don't have to do it because he's so independent. He really doesn't care. Like, he does everything himself. But now I'm like, you know what? Like, I want you to actually miss me if I die.
Start doing things around here. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna start. You're gonna be dependent on me whether you like it or not.
Die. Well, it's funny that you say boring. It is I can never say this word. Monotonous. Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very repetitive. It's not brain science to do what we do running a home.
Yeah.
But I feel like because I definitely own the home. I do all the laundry, I do all the cooking, I do all the cleaning, except for the deep cleaning. I have a Jessica for that. But, grocery shopping, all of that. I think once you own it and just realize it's a treadmill task. I know we've brought this up on other podcasts that you're going to be doing it for the rest of your life. Yeah. It's like, you might as well make it fun, or like, at least just start to enjoy that, like,
you're going to do this for the rest of your life.
That, these boring tasks can be not fun, I guess, but like, I don't know. I feel like I do it with the girls. I allow myself to be a little bored. It's very understimulating, and it's just like, I don't know, kind of peaceful in a way.
Yeah, I mean, if you turn on a good podcast, it's not too bad. It was funny because I found myself the other day. Isaiah was bugging the shit out of me. Like, boys are like dogs. If you don't take them out to run around and let out their energy in the morning, they're just going to bug you the rest of the day. And I had plans to take Isaiah out for a bike ride because he has this new little front seat on my bike. And the back tire was flat, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I guess we can't do this. I don't know how to change it. Another thing that I have to learn, so I'm not dependent on Kevin. And so, then we just decided to like do like little things around the house. But I didn't actually take him out to like the park or hiking or anything like that. So he was just on me all day, and I had dishes to put away, and I wanted to clean the kitchen. And he was just like hanging on my leg, just bugging me while I was trying to do these things. I was like, I know I could stop this right now if I just invited him to help me put this stuff away. But I literally don't want him to help me.
This is literally what this whole podcast.
I want to be by myself.
I want to right now.
I know. I want him to go away so I can do it myself. So I was just laughing at myself. Like, I know I should in this moment just invite him to help me do it, but I just want him to go away.
With you. Oh my God. Oh, we've all had moments, by the way, full disclosure. I've had moments like that too. Like, I just want to do this by myself. Just go. I can get it done faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, I was listening to a podcast, so if he's helping me, I can't listen to the podcast. I'm like, Isaiah, go read. Go in the backyard. Go, play with your toys. Every time I give him those options, he starts freaking out even more because he doesn't want to leave me alone.
Had moments. Okay, so full disclosure, like, I read this book in the past, and I'm glad I picked it back up because now that Alina's at this age point, I've done less of this stuff with her, including her in the household cooking and cleaning and all that. Because Camila's here and they play with themselves. But every once in a while, she gets clingy, kind of like Isaiah. She doesn't want Camila, she wants me. And it wasn't until I read this book again that I was like, oh yeah, it's so much easier if you just let them help. And here's what I've noticed. I'll try to shoo her away, go play with Camila. And as soon as I just sort of let her in to do what I'm doing, she helps, but she doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? So she kind of like will, like, say, for example, I'm doing the dishes, putting them away. If I just give her the stool, she's now at my level and she's fiddling with the silverware, she's actually really quiet and content, and I'm doing other things. And so sometimes it's just allowing them to actually help. They're less bothering you or like hanging on you and all that stuff, because they're like, oh, I'm yeah,
Like whiny and
it's
clingy.
really interesting. Yeah, we're gonna talk
Well,
about
we're going
this.
to talk about all this today. Alyssa's the master of this. If you follow Alyssa, you know that she is a huge advocate for the book Hunt, Gather, Parent, and you're reading it with your clients
so
right now,
essentially,
right?
I read this book when Camila was 1, and it changed.
Do you know who
I
recommended
I
it to you? How
follow
did you find it?
someone who loves the book as much as I do. She has 4 kids, stay at home. She's literally, again, another stay at home mom, homeschooling. Read this book and was producing reels talking about it, and it just clicked for me. Everything that she was sharing made so much sense. It's just essentially, well, yeah. Let me just go into what the book is, I guess. So
I have not read the book, by the way, guys. It's on my list of things to do. So I'm just kind of here. Alyssa's going to be leading this conversation. I'll be asking
let me
questions.
start.
Hold on.
So the author, her name's McLean Duclef, and she's a science journalist and a mom who's just like, she's struggling, like struggle bus. I believe she lives in San Francisco. She has a toddler. Her daughter's name's Rosie. And essentially the book premise, she's traveling to different communities. She goes to a Maya community in Mexico, an Inuit community in the Arctic, and she goes to a Tanzania community to learn how these other cultures raise their kids. And what she discovers is that what we have accepted as normal here in the US or just in Western cultures isn't actually normal in majority of the world. And so she really questions, like, are we operating inside of a system that was never really designed to support families in the first place? And I really felt this. I think when we grew up in America, right? And I think when you start to meet, like Shantae and I have traveled, I think we shared this quite often. We've traveled to other countries. We've done homestay in Thailand. And it's completely different to how we live here. Obviously, you guys probably know this without having to travel. But some of the biggest assumptions she starts to notice in Western civilization versus like other cultures is that kids need to be constantly entertained. And this is something I know when I was pregnant with Camila and when I first had her, I assumed was something you do. You bring them to like baby meetups and you take them to like little play gyms, and like the kids are now they're the center of the universe, and you need to praise them for everything you do. Oh my God, good job. Like over the top and sticker charts and chores are for adults only. Kids, you play. And I mean, I grew up fairly like this. My mom often would just be like, okay, you guys go play. I do the cooking, cleaning. And then at some point I remember we had chores, and it's funny because I remember actually enjoying chores when we finally were old enough to do them. And I remember these things, right? And then parents, parenting is hard and exhausting, and good parents are engaged and so involved. And she talks about in the book this framework called teamwork or team. Yeah. So it's an acronym. It's togetherness, encouragement, autonomy, and minimal interference, which I'm going to go into the themes of the book. But coming from a coach, because I was, obviously we're coaches, and I think sometimes when we're working with moms, I think when moms hire a coach for weight loss, they think we're going to help them lose weight, that they need the right macros, they need the right protein and fiber and a perfect strength training plan. And yes, of course, we help our clients with all these things. But I think oftentimes when it comes to a woman's health journey, it's not that they're not confused on how many grams of protein is in chicken. Most women are stuck because of the invisible pressures of motherhood that no one has taught us to navigate. I think like being a mom is actually not that hard. I know people are gonna be like, what did you I really think if you just were a mom, just a mom, nothing else, it's really not that hard. It is literally everything else. It's everything else. It's because I work with high achieving moms. It's They're trying to work, they're going to school, they're trying to homeschool, they're trying to raise a child, run a home, be the best wife. And so, yeah, I think trying to do all this while also realizing no one taught us how to prioritize ourselves. No one taught us how to set boundaries. No one taught us how to work on our health while raising a family, managing a household, building a career. And we are definitely in this modern world that we are in a comparison game where we carry these little digital boxes, these cell phones at all times with us. And we're comparing to these people on the internet who we don't know what they have access to. And so, yeah, I think we're now reading this in my group coaching container just because I think, again, the underlying theme with moms who want to change their health, it's usually when I'm coaching these people, it's because of their beliefs, their identity, the expectations, the mental load. It's unpacking years of conditioning of what a good mom should be. And so, yeah, this is the part where we get to really look at like this book and what it is to be a good mom and how traditional cultures really nailed parenting, and we can really learn from them. Yeah.
I love that. And this made me think a lot about before we had kids too, and the fears behind it because of all of the things that we would hear about how you lose yourself and how you have to give up so much of your life and yourself. And it's no secret that yes, your entire world changes no matter what, but you also can take care of yourself and create systems like Alyssa talks about and create a more simple life that doesn't feel like you have to keep up with the Joneses and impress your friends and your family. Just impress your friends of like
Pinterest
the biggest,
parties,
the birthday party thing has all the Pinterest parties. I love the reels that I'm starting to see of mom just saying like, yep, just a cake, some balloons and a jumpy and that's it. That's all we're doing. And here's your pizza.
Like it's gotten a little out of hand. It really has with these balloon arches.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I've done that the past few birthdays. I've been trying to keep it more simple for that reason. It's like kids just want to play with their friends. Like who are we flaunting to with these balloon arches and like pony? Well, actually, to be fair, my mom did pony rides at one of my birthdays.
She's like, but we just, I'm doing all these things.
Keeping it simple. It's hard.
It's hard not to because it's fun. It's fun. It's fun to celebrate, especially that first year, and which I think a lot of parents go overboard that first year because everything is new. Like even the toy thing, right? I bought so many toys for Isaiah. We all did. My parents did. I did. And then I started, and I'm like,
all these toys.
Okay, we don't need. Yeah, you have to maintain it, and then he doesn't actually play with all of it. I'm due for a sweep. Yeah, I actually kind of thought about the type because I've been watching him to see what he actually plays with and what he actually likes, and what I'm willing to spend money on is like sports things. So like I got him a new like soccer net that is like 2 nets, so we can actually play back and forth soccer. He really loves that. I'm gonna get him a new like t-ball baseball thing, so like activity, like sports activities I'm willing to buy just because I know he enjoys it so much. And then his garbage truck, dude, he's obsessed with garbage trucks. I bought him just like this $15 Amazon garbage truck toy for his 2nd birthday. He played for it for a straight 2 hours the first day, and he still plays with it quite often. So I'm thinking about
just
getting
those
rid of
two things. Yeah,
that toy.
Sports.
Pretty much.
Well, I'm gonna go into that soon, so you can maybe that'll help you whittle down what you decide to keep and what you don't. So we're all learning. It's all interesting
here, guys.
It's learning and I've read this book like 3, maybe 4 times. And so, more recently, I'm halfway through. So some of the ideas are a little bit more fresh in my mind, and some I was trying to think on it. I was like, oh crap, I might be a little fuzzy, but you'll get the gist. And like I said, I'm glad we're doing a full episode on this so I can send this to people that want to listen. So the main theme and biggest takeaway that you guys need to take from this book is children are wired to contribute. This is like the foundation of the entire book. And she argues that children are literally born wanting to help. And the problem is us as a modern parent, we are training them not to help. And so she's like, how often are your kid, like Shantae and I were just talking about this, right? You're shooing your children out of the kitchen. Go play, right? You're making this harder, essentially, is what you're telling them. Your job is to play. My job is to cook and clean. And one of the Mayan mothers explains that children want to help. And this is so desired. They're wired to do this. And she gives a good example. And I forget where in the book, I haven't reread this part yet, but she was like, would you shoo your 15-year-old son or daughter out of the kitchen if they wanted to help cook dinner? Of course not. So why are you telling your 2-year-old to go away? Like, essentially, this is where they learn the skill of helping. And so, yeah, I think if you continue to reject their help, they learn this cooking and cleaning is no longer my responsibility. It's mom's responsibility. And so,
and this could actually have benefits for your husband too. Like, I don't know if this has happened to anybody else, but I've noticed that Isaiah wants to help with chores with Kevin. Like, he wants Kevin. So we have this hallway where we put empty boxes to throw out. And he's always like asking Kevin to go throw out the boxes, which I love because I want things done right away. And Kevin takes a day or two to get it done. So when he asks Kevin to do that, he'll get it. They'll both do it together in that moment. The other day I had Kevin's clothes all folded and perfect on the dining room table. And Isaiah called out Kevin, said, like, pointing it like, Dad, you didn't put this away yet. And Kevin like, okay, buddy, I'll do that in a second. Okay. So it's so cute that he's starting to notice these things, but then he'll try to recruit his dad so they can do it together, which I obviously love.
It's a good bonding moment, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I'm going to tell
It is.
It's bonding time.
I think there was several examples in the book where, like, the author notices in one of the Maya cultures is like it was early in the morning. The young teenager. She comes home from school and goes straight into the kitchen and starts doing the dishes. And she was like, oh my gosh. She asked like, why did you do the dishes? She's like, oh, I saw they needed to be done. And so a big part of this, right?
Every
a big part
dream.
of this is that you're including your kids and narrate. She said it's helpful to narrate. The doggy's water bowl is empty. Let's fill it up. I'm grabbing the trash. Camila, can you go open the door? So maybe they can't take out the trash yet, but they can open the door for you. So finding tasks that are appropriate. Hey, can you go grab my shoes? It's funny. Actually, I saw a reel the other day, and it was a guy sitting on the couch, and he had a plate that was empty. He had just finished it. Yeah. And then he like goes to get up to put the plate down. And then he looks at the kid, and he hands the plate, and then like nods, like, go put that in the sink. And the kid goes, and he's like, I saw the comments were like, yeah, well,
this is what kids are for.
Like, one of the first, it was like, he was like, you are now officially a dad. You thought it was when you had your child, but it's actually in this moment that you became a real dad.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of the benefits of having a kid. I don't have to do it. You go do it.
But essentially, like, in order to teach your children, I think I had a group coaching call, and there's a name for this, like a see-do chores, where you see something out of place and then you do it. Essentially, you have to include them and then point it out as you go throughout the day. If they're next to you doing, cooking and cleaning and laundry, you start to tell them and show them, like, the trash is full, let's go take it out. And then they start to learn. So I did this with Camila. So after she was done with breakfast, I would start to teach her, okay, dishes go in the sink. After dishes in the sink, this is also behavior change, right? After dishes in the sink, then it's time to feed the dog. After a few times of that, now she gets up, puts her dish in the sink, and then she goes and feeds the dog. And now I've also tacked on the habit of putting the silverware away. So every morning I unload my dishwasher. I take everything out and just put it on the counter. The girls eat, and then they both come over, and now they fight. They kind of fight over it. Like, Elena goes, "Ay, vaques," and she runs and she pushes her stool. And Camila, what I love is, because we've been doing this so many times, she'll take the sharp knives and put them to the side, and then her and her sister will work together to put the silverware away. So yeah, I think one of the big things is I think oftentimes Western parents think, oh, this is dangerous. Oh my God, what if they burn themselves? Like if they're next to the stove, or what if they cut themselves? Luckily, we're in a time and age where you can buy appropriate knives, give them a butter knife, or buy a child safe knife. You can include them into certain activities. Like maybe Alyssa, I'm going to have her season the chicken or stir the pot that's not over the stove. One system we have in our house is they're always invited. I might not always ask them like, hey, come help or come Team Vargas, but I always have their stools, and I know you do too, Shantae, against the counter. So at any time, like Alyssa will push her stool up near me and participate. And it's just finding ways to include them into the task in a safe way. And if it isn't safe, for example, like Alyssa really wants to stir the boiling water and I don't feel comfortable with her doing it, it's okay to be like, okay, this is boiling water. You are acting too out of control with your hands. Push the stool to the side so they can't access it. Or just, hey, you know what? You're not ready for this yet. And it's okay to not include them in certain tasks. Like, hey, you know what? You're not ready. You're not, your arms are, she was too frantic, right? And so once you're calm, then you're invited back in. So just finding the task. And the author, by the way, I'm not going to go through all the tasks, but you can listen to the book. She goes into specific things you can include that's age appropriate. This is the thing though, if you have an 8-year-old and they never assisted in the kitchen, like maybe my 2-year-old is safe around the stove because she's been doing it since 1, but you have an 8-year-old that's like never been in the kitchen. You know, there might be tasks that you have to work them up to doing. So keep that in mind. The big concept, I think there's the name for it is called accommodito. And I guess this is like a famous idea of the book, but it's seeing what needs to be done and doing it without being asked. So I think we call them see-do chores here, but it's called accommodito in the Mayan culture. And there's no rewards. They don't pay their kids to do the house tasks. There's no sticker charts. There's no punishment, which I think I've seen reels in, that say like, oh, punishment is like cleaning the home, or I pay my kids for these specific, chores. And that's something I will never do. My mom's like, oh, when are you going to pay Camille? Like, how's she going to earn money? I was like, well, it's not going to be doing house cleaning. That's like expected. That's just something that I've read this book, and I believe this is how you create a home for, that creates that kids that are wanting to do chores. As soon as you put, rewards or punishments, it becomes a thing. So yeah, it's like at this age, because luckily they're young, they want to help, just include them whenever possible. Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know if she talks about this, but with earning money, what kind of things, or I guess have you and Fernando talked about allowances and earning money and what that looks like?
Influencer who very similar to my, home values and culture. She also doesn't do, chores, are not paid, but she pays her kids to read. And I thought that was clever. I've seen, this is where you can maybe encourage entrepreneurship. Hey, you want to earn money? You have to maybe open a lemonade stand or create something or sell something, whatever it be. But yeah, I honestly haven't thought through that too much. So I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. She's still so young. I know Patrick Bet David, he says that if his sons want something that like costs a good chunk of money, he puts like a number of books that they have to read in order to earn that. So it's not necessarily money, but it's okay, well, you have to read this many books in order to earn this, what you want. So
see, I'd probably go that route. I think it wouldn't be household chores. That's like expected, but yeah. Another theme, which is another big one of my favorites, is stop entertaining your kids and stop making family life child center. And so this is a big theme of the book. Essentially what she talks about is modern parenting revolves around like a good parent means keeping your kid entertained, engaged, stimulated. And so it's like this is the part where I was like literally dreading, because my mom growing up, she did a little bit of this. She was very artsy. Like we did Girl Scouts. She would, like she loved Martha Stewart. So she loved doing like painting, and like, I don't like doing that stuff. And let's be honest, I think most of us, do you guys want to go to jump houses? Do you guys like going to those kid events? Like every once in a while, maybe like Chuck E. Cheese. Like, I don't want to go and eat disgusting pizza and be in these arcade places. It's not something I would do on a weekly basis, maybe every quarter, or every once in a while. Okay. But anyways, so yeah, I think our culture is very much into like sensory bins and like rotating. How many reels have I seen? I swear to God.
Sensory bins. I'm laughing because I also laugh at that. It's very common in the ABA world where you have like these sensory things, and I get the idea of it, but at the same time, it's like, I think why we're seeing such a big spurt in OT and physical therapy is because parents aren't taking their kids.
They're not letting them get muddy.
They're get sensory. Yeah, they're not letting them get muddy. They're not letting them run around. Yeah, and I know with like kids with autism, it just really depends. Obviously, if they have high risk escape behaviors, you obviously can't take them outside because then they'll just bolt out. So I understand that there's some limitations about that, and you have to kind of like work up to that. But this isn't just like for kids with autism. This is for all kids. Like that, we're seeing a huge spike in OT services, and I've heard OT therapists saying that they are just burnt out and they can't handle these many cases back to back to back all day. And I have heard other OT talk about how, just kids aren't outside anymore, exploring and running around barefoot and touching things. And so that's part of it as well.
Sensory pins, like rotating toys. I've seen this so many times on reels. Like, to keep our toys exciting, we have, a certain amount of toys out and then some stored. And then when they get bored of those, we rotate them through. And I'm like, oh my God, like that's storing so many things. And then feeling just pressured to just do something with them every day. Like I've heard a lot of moms like, I have to take them here and there and like keep them busy. And so which the author talks about is these communities don't do that. Like instead of organizing life around children, the children are folded into their life that already is. And so that was a big shift. So instead of, again, the example, go play outside while I cook dinner, it's like, okay, come cook with me. Here, stir the pot, wash the vegetables, carry things that are too small or too big, stand and watch. And a lot of it, she was like, children watch through observation. So she noticed when the families were cooking or cleaning, sometimes her kids were just watching them. For example, I think it was like I forget what family, I think it was a Maya family, and the dad was doing construction, pouring cement. And this was a good example of like, he really wanted to help pour the cement, but it was such a high technique that the dad's like, nope, you can't do this yet. You are too young. But the kid did watch. And he did allow he allowed the kid to do certain things, but not everything. And so, I think a big thing is like family life happens together and we do this together. And I will say, and I'm going to connect this back into coaching, a lot of times the women that we work with are exhausted because they are running from activity to sports, to enrichment, to another enrichment camp. They have their child in so many activities. They're getting home late. The kids are hungry. It's like 8 p.m. They haven't cooked dinner, and then bedtime's pushed, and then they're still finishing up their work notes for the night, right? The kids are in bed late. They're in bed late, and they have to wake up early, and then it's like sprinting to catch up with everything. And so and I know we've kind of talked about this already, but I think sports are important, right? It's important to, do social outings with other friends, like for your kids. But I think a big part of what the book talks about is like, in the book, she clearly just says, you do the things that you like doing as an adult. If you like going to museums and you like meeting up with your friends for dinner, and if you like going to the beach, you do that and bring your kid. Like she says, no child activities whatsoever. And yeah, like she's like,
Whoa.
you just live,
So
you just live
radical.
your adult life and they come with you. But it really does, she points out, it
I love that.
teaches, like, if it's always about them, they're more self-centered, they're less likely to cooperate, there's more tantrums. And that's what she was noticing with her child, is like the child would never listen to her, never put on her shoes, because she was like, well, this life is about me, you take me to the park. Right? Do what I want to do.
Yeah.
So she noticed when she started shifting these things, her daughter was more likely to listen and cooperate. And so yes.
I like that. I think I mentioned last week that we just built a new patio enclosure, and I'm kind of like dubbing it the like reading and relaxation room. It's funny because Kevin was like, he was looking at TVs
No.
to put in there. I was like, you are out of your mind. There's no TVs that are coming out. We only have one TV that's in the living room, and that's it. So we kind of went back and forth with that. I was like, you know what? Phones aren't even going to be allowed back here. You're going to have to leave your phone inside. But anyways, I wanted to create it just like a reading space. And on Wednesday, Isaiah, so I was reading. I was trying to read, and Isaiah brought a book out with him, but he was like jumping on me and like hitting me and being a little brat, just like taking things and like, just like being hyperactive. But I wanted him to kind of understand that this is like just a reading time for me. And so he had moments where he would sit and read while I would read. They're very short, and then he would just like try to wrestle me and like try to get on me. And then he would walk out into the backyard and then play with his toys and then come back in. But I really want to make it a habit of him noticing that I'm sitting and reading, so he could also sit and read. And as the day progressed, because this happened in like chunks throughout the day, and as the day progressed, he was sitting down longer, reading his own book longer, not to say that it was like 15 minutes or anything, but it was longer than just like 30 seconds as the day progressed. So that was good. And now I'm starting to notice him picking up the same book and going on the couch and reading it. And it's really cute. So I'm going to try to continue practicing that so he can associate that space with just like sitting and calmness.
Right,
and he doesn't have to be there. That's the thing. Like it's just by choice. Like if he doesn't want to be there, he can go outside and play, or he can come in and read with me.
So much. Keep it up. Yeah, you're already implementing what this book would, or what she would say. She would give you 2 thumbs up.
Well, I've just heard so much from you. I probably don't even need to read it.
At this point, you don't, because I've talked to you about it so many times. Honestly, you don't need to. But yeah, essentially what she says is like, adults don't, like, you don't want to center everything around your child. And she was saying, I know I'm repeating myself here, but it creates less resistance, less entitlement, more cooperation, more calm participation. So yeah, I mean, I think a big thing, I've had clients who are reading this, and it's really shifting how they're viewing their daily life. Like some clients, again, when you make your life so child-centered, it's like, oh, when am I going to squeeze in my workout? When am I going to fit it in? Instead of, hey, that goes in first. Your self-care, because you're going to be a better mom. You're going to show up better, and you're teaching your children that your health is important. Going to the grocery store, right? That is going to happen on the weekends. Cooking, meal prepping, that has to happen, right? You're showing your family what's important. And so, yeah, I think it's less about preventing boredom, less about scheduling all the activities, keeping them busy, and more about, hey, what's best for the family. So I think some things that I've really applied, in my home, and unfortunately, I wish I could compare what it was like pre and post implementation of this book. But I've really, I know that's what I'm saying. I wish I could, like, I've said, like, oh, Camila was this way, now she's that way, but I've been doing this since she was a baby. So, I think how I've applied it since day one is my girls cook with me. And one thing to expect is it will take longer. And I think that's where moms get frustrated. It will take longer, and that's okay. It's going to be messier, and that's okay. I think, it'll take longer. It will take longer, and that's okay. But what I try to remind myself is if I get them involved now, the long way, the slow way is going to be the fast way eventually. Because there's been times where I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I've shared this on other podcasts where they help me actually cut all the vegetables for dinner. And it's actually really helpful because I'll be marinating the meat and putting the meat on the grill, and they're actually helping me with preparing the veggies. And so there will be a
I
time
love that.
where, it will actually go a lot quicker.
Yeah. You guys, those
Hmm.
first 5 years, I feel like, is an opportunity you don't want to miss when it comes to behavior management and family values and expectations, because the older they get, the harder it
Hmm.
is. As you know, I mean, as an adult, when you're learning new skills and trying to make lifestyle changes, it's always harder because you have a whole history that you're fighting against of habits and things that you haven't practiced. So just like knowing how challenging it can be as you get older, it's important, if you have littles, to really just put in the work up front now, so it gets easier for you and your
Yeah.
whole family
Yep.
later.
And I wrote this down, and I think this actually you might like this part. So, the hardest but most freeing truth is that good parenting equals effort, stimulation, and constant engagement. But the author's observation is the opposite. Sometimes the most regulating thing for a child is not more attention, but it's access to real life. So, not the perfectly structured activities, but just making sure that they feel like they are actually contributing and they belong to the family, and that what they do actually matters. So the theme number 3 is autonomy creates confidence. And this one actually was probably my favorite part of the book because there's so many times, and because I've read other parenting books, this was not my first, but it's like, oh, give them choices. Do you want the red cup or the blue cup? Do you want to put your shirt on first or your pants on first? Like, do you want to brush your teeth now or in 5 minutes? And it's supposed to like give them autonomy and independence because you're giving them a choice and they get to choose. And I remember this, right? And it's a little annoying. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I still do this, but what the book talks about is so centered again around their preferences. What do you want, this or that? And it actually sometimes backfires because it's like, how many times you go, do you want this one or that one? And then sister gets that one and then they're fighting over it. Like so many times, I want the rainbow cup. And this still happens, okay? Because I still catch myself doing these things. But instead, she says, okay, instead of creating autonomy that way, it's like, how about instead of do you want the red cup or blue cup? It's like, why don't you set the table for the family? You're in charge of setting the table. Or the other day, Camila got Elena dressed. And she was so proud of herself. That was something that she did on her own, changed her diaper, got her fully dressed for the day, and she was so
Oh,
proud. And like that,
oh,
that
so
big
cute.
trusted responsibility was empowering for her. And so instead of the message of like, you get to choose, right? You get to choose, it's like you're capable. And that builds real confidence because they're capable of helping. And again, they can contribute in a real way and they feel like they're trusted and they're actually capable of helping the family. So I instead of giving your
Mm.
child the choice, put them in charge of helping the family in some way. So like I said, setting the table, unloading the dishes, helping with laundry, um, yeah, anything that's going to help the family, and that's going to help way more and feel way more. They'll, yes,
So less
exactly,
stress
yeah,
on you.
yeah. So I really liked that point in the book. Yeah, there. I think the section was in Tanzania, and the other thing I found was interesting is she noticed this little toddler meandering through the tribe and like going off by himself, and she's like, "Oh my gosh!" She's like, "No one's watching this kid." But what she started to notice is like everyone had their eyes on him, and like that allowed that autonomy to like go and do something. I think I forget where he was going, maybe to get water or something, but essentially I thought that was interesting is like they allowed him to do a big task, and that freedom, like he felt the freedom, but that was connected to responsibility. And so instead of obsessing with giving our child choices, we're giving them more autonomy to do hard things like set the table or things that we know we can trust them with, that they can contribute in a bigger way. Yeah.
No, it makes sense. I mean, I think with the narrative or just the culture in Western culture, we just put so much pressure on ourselves. And I don't think social media has helped either because we compare or we feel like we need to be doing all these things, or maybe we grew up with nothing. So we feel obligated to give our kids everything and to create a life that we've never had, whatever the case may be. We always have to understand, especially as mothers, that we cannot pour from an empty cup. And we also we can't pour from an empty cup. We need to take care of ourselves, but we also need to build confidence within our kids because they're going to grow up to be young adults and they need to learn how to do things themselves. They need to learn how to contribute to society, how to give, how to do hard things, and learn how to fail in a controlled environment and a supported environment so we can kind of be there to support them. So I love this perspective so much, and I think it takes so much pressure off us as mothers and needing to do everything.
I think it's a big thing
kids.
Within our coaching containers too, is like, I feel like the moms feel like they have to do everything. And so one thing, because I love functional home and system design, is like, where are you bottlenecking your home? Like, are you the Google search engine of your home? Mom, where's this? Where's that? They can't access certain things. So one thing I've started doing is like keeping cups and plates where they can access them. So it's not like, Mom, you have a cup of water? Yeah, you can get it. It's right there. It's like you have access. And so think about how your house is designed, things that you want your little ones to help with and have access to support you. Do they have access to? So designing your home so they can grab their shoes, grab their socks, grab a cup, grab a snack, like a fruit, they have access. I put it low so they can grab it. So it's not always like asking you for help with everything. And so that can fall under system design and house, systems that help your house run smoother.
Yeah. I'm starting to think of all the things that Isaiah does that, he's only barely 2.5, but we have this new shoe rack of like these little, like, I guess you could call them drawers, but his is at the bottom. So he knows where his shoes are. And when I tell him to go get his shoes, he doesn't know how to put them on by himself yet, but he grabs his shoes. He also knows where his socks are upstairs. So when I ask him to grab his socks, he can get his socks. And then recently, I don't know why, we have underwear for him downstairs and upstairs just in case, like, because you never know where you're going to need it. But the other day he went all the way upstairs, grabbed all of his underwear and then brought it downstairs to put it in his the area where we have the rest of his underwear. I don't know why he wanted to do that. He just did. So like little things like that I noticed he does. He always gets his own plate or bowl. See? When he's hungry.
So he can access those things. He can grab them.
Yeah. So independently, like without me having to ask, unless, he needs to be prompted. But yeah, he's starting to do a lot of little things by himself, even brushing his teeth too. Because the stool that I bought is actually too short for him, but it gives him a little boost where he can lift himself onto the counter and then sit, and then he'll actually brush his teeth. Yeah. Well, I have to obviously do it after, but he wants to do it himself first. And then
I love it. Yes.
Yeah. So it's starting to work.
Keeping the things that you want them to have access to, and then the opposite, things you don't want them to have, like small Lego parts that you don't want thrown everywhere, keep high up.
Yes. He's even starting to empty his own pee.
Yes.
Because the little potty, he wants to like empty it, take it to the potty, dump it, flush the toilet.
You know what? See, that's where like a lot of people go, no, you're going to spill. It's going to be gross. It's okay. Like, let them try. Like Camila's wanting to pick up the dog's poop. I'm like, sure. Yeah, go ahead. I showed her how to do the bag. So now every time we're on dog walks, she picks up the poop. And I think sometimes we're like, no, it's just better if I do it. You're going to, get your dirt dirty, but it's okay. You can wash your hands. It's all right. They're learning a skill. I think it's important to let them try. Oh, that was another thing that I liked in the book is there was a Mayan family. They were making tortillas. And so she was like, they were like perfectly round. And one of the kids came over and she immediately was like, okay, what's going to happen? The little kid started to make it and they were kind of misshapen. And the woman, the mom, accepted them. Like she didn't go back and try to make them perfect. Like, it's okay if your kid contributes. And that's something I took that and pulled that, because that's a big emphasis, is like, it's okay if it's a little messy, if it's a little misshapen, go ahead and accept it. Because it shows them that their work matters. They tried. Obviously, if it's like, if whatever they're helping with is like too messed up and it's like going to, like it's not going to cook properly, go ahead and adjust it a little bit. And you can teach them, hey, this is a little too thick. We have to make it thinner, or it's going to burn or whatever. But I loved that message, is like, it's okay if it's a little misshapen. It doesn't have to look perfect, but they contributed and they felt really good about it. So theme number 4, the Inuit approach to discipline. This one was mind-blowing, and I don't know how they do it, but I have some things that I want to talk about that she didn't bring up in the book. But apparently the Inuit people never yell. Like, she talks about at the start of this chapter that back in the, and I didn't write this part down, the early 60s, maybe even, 60s, I want to say, an anthropology student traveled to somewhere in the snow, somewhere very cold, Arctic, I think, the Arctic. And it was like a very dangerous trip, because the people that survived out there obviously were accustomed. And for her to travel there, it was risky. And she studied, I think she was going to study something else about the culture, but ended up being fascinated that they literally never yell. They lived in igloos, and they were like in tight parameters with small children. She stayed with the family that let her live through the winter with them. And she was mind blown how they never lost their cool. And this was super fascinating because, like, I mean, that's, I feel like, very different in our culture. We have short tempers here. And she shared that one of the kids spilled hot tea, and she was writing that no one even looked up. Like, they didn't look up, they didn't scold the kid, they didn't yell at the kid, they just like went about their business. And she heard that the father was like, oh, the tea shouldn't have been there. That's it. Like, it's like never, she just, like, they just know children are learning, they're young, and they learn to control their tempers. And so I thought that was super interesting. But the one thing I was thinking about while reading this, and I'm like, now she doesn't want us to romanticize, because when she went back and visited, because that was in the 60s, I think now she went, I don't know what year she traveled, but they did have phones, they have Facebook, and they have some modern technologies. It's not like they do. It's not like they're just like, cut off from modern technology. But I do wonder, because when she did go visit herself, she did share that they very calm, they don't yell. And I do wonder if our culture we are just overexhausted, we're overstimulated. I'm just thinking about, we have phones on us all the time, we're scrolling, we have toys that make loud noises, the TV's always on, our kids are always yelling, running around. We're the only parent in the home, where she did talk about, which I don't think I have a point on this, so I'll just bring it to this point here, is she really talks about how it takes a community there. Like, people don't parent on their own. And so when she was visiting these people, they're like, why are you by yourself with your child? Like, they would have a team network of people helping raise their kid. So it's not just you. It really takes a village. And that's the point of visiting this culture, is like, they had such a deep networking system. And so she's like, I understand, in our modern world, we oftentimes move away from family. We're not next to grandparents. But she's like, you can build your own community. And so that is one thing I'm talking with my clients about, because I think oftentimes, like, I have a mom who works, and then she's trying to make sure her kids are, it's still in sports, and she's having a hard time balancing this all. And I'm like, can you lean on your sister? Can you lean on your mom? Do you have a close friend that you trust that your kids can go play over at their house for a little bit? Like, where can you lean in on your community for help? Because we're not meant to raise our kids by ourselves. And I think so many of us become burnt out, isolated, overwhelmed. And so, no wonder we yell at our kids. It's like, we're so tired. We're trying to do it all, and we're not leaning in on that community. And so, I really liked that chapter. I'm actually in the middle of this chapter right now. I'll skip over this part. She does talk about teaching through stories, which I don't know if I fully agree on. I almost tested this out. She said in Inuit cultures, parents often story tell. So she talks about like how like they don't want them to drown in the ocean, so they tell stories about like mystical like animals or monsters that will pull them into the water, and it's kind of scares the crap out of their kids from going near the ocean. And so this is how they teach, is through storytelling, make believe, fairy tales, or what would you call that? There's a name, folklore. And so I tried that once. I started to play around like monsters in the vents, and then I totally was like, I don't know, I don't like this part of the book. I don't think I'm going to implement it. I just didn't feel right, and I don't want my kids to be afraid of monsters when they sleep. So I stopped bringing that up. But what's really interesting, actually, I did see that she was on CBS promoting her new book. Apparently it came out March 2026, and it's the follow-up to Hunter Gather, and it's called Dopamine Kids, and it's about focusing on screens, ultra-processed food, motivation, habits, and how dopamine affects children's behavior.
Wow.
Yes. So I know.
Wow.
Well, it's out, so we can
wait.
get it now. But it's how to create an environment where children naturally want healthier, more meaningful activities instead of constantly seeking the next hit of stimulation. That's what the book focuses on. So yeah, that's going to be my next read.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it too.
And then I think the last, right? Is this the last one? Yeah. Okay. So the last theme of the book is parenting. Oh, there was my notes on this. Is it meant to be a 2-person job? So this is, the part I knew. I was like, oh no, I knew I had a point on this. Essentially leaning in with grandparents, aunts, uncles, neighbors, community. It really does take a village, but I guess that's it. That's all I had for my notes on the book. But yeah, it's definitely changed.
I love it.
My life, really. I definitely have pulled everything that I do with my girls from this book, and I feel like I'm raising pretty cooperative, kind.
Yeah. Totally. No, there's total sweethearts and helping around the house, and this is going to be great. I mean, if we all do our part as parents, especially if you raise both genders, right? Can you imagine the next generation of boys and girls who help contribute in the home, and where women don't feel so like overstimulated and like overwhelmed with all the things that they have to do, where their boys and men actually contribute without women needing to ask. It's like a woman's dream. I'm going to beat that in my son's head. Like, do not wait until your wife asks you. Just see and do. See and do. And when Kevin does something, he hates it though. So I don't think this is actually reinforcing. But when he actually does something without me prompting him, I'm like, good job. You noticed. And now
that was another thing I read. Actually, I just finished reading this. She said overpraising is actually not something traditional cultures do. So, and this was like, when I reread this part, I was like, I've been doing this a lot. So she says, when you overpraise, we in modern civilization really overpraise, like too much, and it's exhausting.
Modern civilization. In modern civilization.
Not what traditional cultures do. The traditional cultures actually do not overpraise. She said she noticed that actually traditional cultures, like the one she visited, don't talk a lot. They don't over coach. They don't over speak to their children. They're a little bit more like watch and observe. Because, and this is especially happening when they're doing tantrums. Like one thing, I was just finished reading this part, is when their kids are throwing tantrums, they get quiet. They talk less. They don't say anything because words stimulate, right? And so they get more overwhelmed. And so she actually notices that these Inuit families are really quiet when the kids are upset and loud and have big emotions. But anyways, the praising thing, she was talking about sometimes too much praise, especially if you have more than one kid, they become competitive with each other because they want mom's attention and mom's praise. And so what she does say is the parents do notice, and they do point out, hey, I saw that you took out the trash. That shows that you're becoming more mature. And so, and they don't do it often. It's like they say it maybe once a week and random. And so, yeah, I that's actually something like, oh man, I do praise a lot. Like I do, oh, good job.
Yeah. Well, I guess you're still
Notice
noticing
the
their effort.
Yes.
And you're pointing it out, but you're not like
Yes.
dancing and like throwing a party for them in that moment. It's just very like, hey, I noticed this, which is like the same as like a form of positive reinforcement, right? It's just how you deliver it that is.
Yeah. So I thought that was another thing I forgot about.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's actually like, it's a punisher for Kevin, because every time I recognize it, he's like, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm like, well, I'm just saying, like, you don't normally do that, so I just wanted to recognize.
Oh my god. I know. Well, yeah, highly recommend reading the book. Like I said, I always pick up different nuggets. I think depending on when you read it, like when I read it when Camila was really young, there was things that I implemented, and now I'm rereading it again. I'm like, oh, I need to, like, things I forgot about or want to implement again. So hunt, gather, parent.
Yeah, I love
it. And then we're going to do next week.
Yes.
Are we doing, oh, no, you're not going to review that book. What? Okay.
No, not yet. Eventually we're going to review Erica Camisar's, I can never pronounce her last name, Camisar, whatever, her book, Being There. So being there, like physically there for your kids the first 3 years of their life. So we're going to talk about that. I just started reading it, so it might be a couple weeks.
Especially when Zay's trying
that. But next week,
trying to jump on you. Get 5 minutes at a time.
I know. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I know. Right. But next week, we're actually going to talk about a tough topic, the topic of abortion. I just posted a video on Path to Goals, which, by the way, you guys, I need help coming up with a different handle. If you have any creative handles, please let me know. It's just going to be documenting my life of raising a baby with Down syndrome, and then just, motherhood in general. Obviously, I'm going to have 2 kids now, and one typical kid and one kid with Down syndrome, and just like just documenting my life. So it's nothing about like coaching or like fat loss or anything like that. I might share some personal health tips here and there. I'm definitely going to go on my own personal postpartum transformation after I have this baby, but it's like my content isn't going to be focused on that. It's just more so like living life with a baby with Down syndrome. Anyways. So if you have any creative handle ideas, please let me know. But there was a story that broke out today. It was today. Oh, no, it was last night. Of a famous YouTuber and his wife that announced the termination of their 20-week-old baby boy after receiving a Down syndrome diagnosis. So I made a post about that on my Instagram, kind of just talking about that. But I think it's an important topic to talk about because this tackles so many different perspectives when it comes to pro-life versus pro-choice. The choice to terminate your pregnancy just because you have a diagnosis, what that actually means, the morality around it. So it's a very heated and contentious topic depending on what side of the political spectrum that you're on. This also ties really nicely into the boy crisis and what I talked about that episode when it comes to, strong men in society. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about next week. We're going to dive right into that
first.
Yeah, right into the controversy. We like talking about stuff like this. So yeah, I mean, if you listen to the reel that I posted, would love to get your guys' opinions and insights on this topic. Whether you're pro-life or pro-choice, we want to hear from everybody and would love to hear your perspectives. And then, yeah, we'll just chat about it on the podcast. So yeah, cool. All right, guys. See you next week. Bye.